This is Judgment Day, the very, very beginning. Today my scales, that came in the mail, hence the ever more appropriate title, Judgment Day. I'm actually kind of nervous. I haven't weighed myself since May when I came in at a staggering 647 pounds. It was really a reality check. I haven't regularly weighed since high school when I was in the 375 pound area. And to be honest, it's honestly kind of like snuck up on me. I thought at the very most 550 pounds. I've always kind of carried my weight well for a big guy. I managed to get laid with some regularity, and 647 pounds. That came with more than just the casual. That sucks. I guess truth be told, I think I could blame about 1.2 million things for my weight. There's a ton of factors. Some of these are more personal than others. One big factor would be the inability to weigh regularly. These kind of scales, they don't grow on trees, man. I haven't seen a doctor's office that could weigh me since maybe 7th or 8th grade or some shit like that. And the only time I can remember regularly being weighed was at powerlifting competitions, and that was how I kept track, man. Like once every couple of weeks I'd go to a powerlifting meet in the spring, and they'd have some scales there, and maybe I'd be able to weigh myself. And that kind of relates to my other reason. At one point, I was like a semi-great athlete, man. I competed in football, powerlifting. And I wasn't just, competitive, man. I was pretty good, you know what I mean? When I was a high school freshman, I could bench press 300 pounds, and squat 500 pounds. And I think I was like, 14 years old? And as a senior, the numbers were even better, man. At one point, I squatted close to 800 pounds and bench pressing well over 400, man. And that's not something that, just anybody can do, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, it was a long time ago now, but it's part of how everything kind of just accumulated, man. And it wasn't like I was just a brick house either, man. I could run miles upon miles, and I did every day, man. I worked out 6, 7, 8 hours a day, ran, jogged, lifted weights. And, it all sounds great, I guess, man, but I don't know, maybe that was also part of the problem, dude. Because when I stopped doing all those things, I guess I kind of maintained the same diet, and then when I, ended up, I would say, finally finishing with school and starting to work, dude, and I became a computer geek, man. I was computer geeking it up and stuff, and, the life of a computer geek extraordinaire is pretty much sedentary in nature, you know what I'm saying? So I guess it kind of compounded everything else. The journey here has taken 25 years. The journey back to healthy living, I hope, will take far less. And I hope you intend to join me on the journey, man. As any words of encouragement and stuff like that, it's going to be greatly appreciated, as well as any criticism. I'm going to post my meals, my weight, and I'm going to try and do a picture a day. If you catch me slipping, man, just let me know. But the judgment is in, I weigh 694 pounds. This is day 1 of my blog. This is January 8th, And truth be told, I kind of feel like an epileptic at a fucking light strobe show, man. It's kind of like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm up more than 47 pounds since May 2008, and that's when I promised myself I would start losing weight. So here we go. I guess hold on for the ride. I know I am.